Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Extinguisher10, and today we're doing predictions for the 2019-2020 NFL playoff season. And as you can see right here, I pulled up my predictions from at the beginning of the season. So let's see how I did. So starting off, I had the Texans in the number 4 spot. Nailed that. Chargers in the number 5 spot. Whiffed on that. They were a huge disappointment. So I missed on that. Browns in the number 3 spot. Whiffed there. Ravens in the number 6 spot. I was correct in that they were making the playoffs. The spot in the playoffs I was very wrong on, but give me a little bit of credit for at least predicting them being a playoff team. Patriots at the 1 seed. I was off a little bit. They got the 3 seed. It was close. Chiefs at the 2 seed. Got that exactly right. And in the NFC, I had the Seahawks as the 4 seed. It was close. They're the 5 seed. Cowboys at the 5 seed. I was kind of close. They just barely missed out on winning the division, although it was a very weak division. Packers at the 3 seed. I was really close. They're actually the number 2. And the Falcons as the 6 seed. Yeah, completely missed on that one. Eagles is the 1 seed. I got it right that they made the playoffs, but I was very wrong on how they were going to make the playoffs. I had them having one of the best records in the league, and they got in with 9 wins. But the Saints, I had them at the 2 seed. They ended up at the 3 seed, so I'd say pretty close. Now that I showed you what I predicted at the beginning of the season, and how both close and far off I was in different locations, let's jump in here and start predicting from this point on. So in the number 5, Buffalo Bills at the number 4, Houston Texans. The Bills have a stout defense. They have kind of an on and off offense. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. They had a really light schedule, so I think their record is not a good indication of how good they are. And the Texans, I think they're more of a complete team, albeit not as dominant in any one aspect. DeAndre Hopkins is maybe the best wide receiver in the league. Deshaun Watson is one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league, although he's still got definitely some room for improvement. And while the Texans have the potential to have a great defense, they've had so many injuries, and no longer having Jadeveon Clowney really hurts them. Their defense has not been very good, although they're supposed to get J.J. Watt back for this playoff game and the rest of the playoffs. So I think that's going to help, although his first game back, he's probably going to be at limited duty, but still, that'll help everyone be fresh. And I just can't help go with the home team. I think it makes a difference, especially in the playoffs. The Texans play in a dome. You get that extra sound just reverberating, and it is going to be very difficult for that Buffalo offense to do anything. While they see defense wins championships, their offense is not going to do anything against the Texans. I have the Texans winning this game. Next up, we have the number 6 Titans versus the number 3 Patriots. This is one of the most difficult games I have to choose from, and you wouldn't think it's a 6 versus a 3, but the Titans, ever since they put Tannehill in, they're 7-3. They've been hot. They have a lot going for them lately. And the Patriots, their offense has been bad. They just lost to the Dolphins, and they lost a few other games down the stretch too. So they are not playing as well as they were at the beginning of the season. And they also had a pretty weak schedule and still only mustered a number 3 seed. Granted, that's, pretty good. But for the Patriots, I don't know. I really want to go with the Titans. I really do. But you can't bet against Tom Brady, especially in a matchup like this. The Patriots have one of the best defenses in the league this year. Defense wins championships. And despite the lack of offense the Patriots have shown the second half of the season, I just got to go with them anyway. So starting off in the NFC, we are starting with the number 5 Seahawks at the number 4 Eagles. These are easily the 2 most banged up teams in the playoffs, and so that really makes it difficult to judge. The Seahawks are missing a starting safety, D lineman, linebacker, both their defensive ends, Clowney and Anza, just now coming back from injury. They're not at full strength, and oh yeah, they're missing their first string tight end, their second string tight end, their fourth string tight end, Josh Gordon, who they signed halfway through the season. He's suspended for the rest of the year. Tyler Lockett's been banged up, and probably worst of all, Chris Carson, out. Rashad Penny, out. CJ Prosise, out. Those are their top 3 running backs. their top 3 running backs. Their number 4 guy, Travis Homer, he looks pretty good for a guy who only had maybe a half dozen snaps his entire career before this last game against the 49ers. And Marshawn Lynch is back after not playing for a year and a half. He used to be the man. Yeah, I don't know how well he's going to do. He looked good at times in that game, and he also looks kind of old, which he is in running back years. So it's really kind of hard to tell. I think the time off has probably helped him more than it's hurt him, but there's only so much wear left on those tires. And then they also signed Robert Turbin, which didn't even see the field, probably won't see the field. He's probably more of just an emergency to have. Someone who's familiar with the offense. He spent 3 years with the Seahawks before and really isn't going to do much with them now. On the other side, the Eagles, they are down so many corners. So many corners. Luckily, they have one of the deepest cornerback crews in the league, but still, at one point, they were down their top 5 guys. Some of them have came back, but they're still thin there. Malcolm Jenkins, of course, is a beast, but Zach Brown, cut for running his mouth. And that's not good for the Eagles because they were thin at that position anyway. Defensive line, other than missing Tim Jernigan, they're pretty healthy, but they're getting older, and they're missing guys from previous years, including and especially Chris Long. But on the offensive side, that is where the Eagles are hurting pretty bad. They are missing Nelson Aguilar. They are missing Deshaun Jackson, and they are missing Alshon Jeffrey. Their top 3 wide receivers. They are so thin at wide receiver. At one point, Josh McCown was getting ready to go out and run routes. That's how thin they are. And not only that, Lane Johnson, he's been out. Brandon Brooks, he's out. Miles Sanders, he's out. Jordan Howard, he is out. That's their top 2 running backs and 2 of their better offensive linemen. That offense is completely decimated. But you know what? I've rambled on and on about how injured these 2 teams. I should really talk about the matchups and how it's going to be. And I think it's pretty simple. The Eagles, they are the most banged up team probably in football, obviously in the playoffs. I just don't think they have enough talent to make up for all of those injuries. This year, Russell Wilson is playing just out of his mind, and I don't think that the Eagles can overcome what Russell Wilson can do in a clutch situation. Seahawks win this game. And finally, the last game of the wild card round, number 6 Minnesota going to number 3 New Orleans Saints. Dalvin Cook is banged up. It looks like he's probably going to play, but is he going to be 100%? I don't think so, and I don't think it even matters. Even if he is 100%, I just don't buy Kirk Cousins winning a playoff game on the road against Drew Brees and the Saints, one of the best teams in the league right now. Saints are hot. They're at home. Hall of Fame quarterback. All-pro running back. Defense that is on and off, but still just can't go against them. This one's pretty easy. Saints. Moving on to the divisional round. In the AFC, number 3 Patriots going to the number 2 Chiefs. We're going to go with defense, or are we going to go with offense? And while I know the Patriots have Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and all their sneaky tricks where they're going to steal your signs and do all that cheating, I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the Kansas City offense. And not to mention, the Kansas City defense the last several weeks, I don't remember what span this is, it's like 5 or so weeks, but they've been hot. They've given up less than 12 points a game during whatever span that was. So I have to go with the Chiefs. Now, the number 4 Texans going to the number 1 Baltimore Ravens. And I can go and talk about this over and over again. We already talked about the Texans and what they have going on. The Baltimore Ravens, best running attack in the league, very solid defense, and Lamar Jackson quietly became a very good passer this year. They're in the driver's seat for a reason. I believe in them. It's easy. Ravens. Now over to the NFC. We have the number 3 Saints at the number 2 Green Bay Packers. The Saints are really known as a great home team and a kind of a road team. And they're going into Green Bay, snowy, cold Green Bay. And I really like to favor home teams, but it's Drew Brees. And I think the Saints are just more of a complete team. The Packers don't have a great running game. Aaron Rodgers just doesn't play like he used to. He's still a great quarterback, but he's not at that insane one-of-a-kind level that he used to be, I don't think he can overtake the Saints, who have really just the better team. Gotta go with the Saints. For our last matchup in the NFC, we have the number 5 Seahawks going on the road to the number 1 San Francisco 49ers. We've seen this matchup 2 other times. It's came down to the wire. I'm not even going to try and predict that it's going to be a blowout by any team, because clearly it's going to be a close game. Seahawks were undefeated on the road. They struggled at home, so I don't think that's going to hurt them too much. The 49ers, they were a surprise team, but they also had a pretty soft schedule too, so you have to keep that in mind. Seahawks have maybe the greatest quarterback in the league this year. The 49ers have Jimmy Garoppolo, who's really just been an excellent game manager, but really nothing more. I don't expect him to be driving downfield and winning them the game if that's what it takes. But the 49ers have an insane running attack. We already talked about how banged up the Seahawks are on the ground. Defensively, the Seahawks, they're banged up, and they're just not as talented as the 49ers. 49ers are banged up too, but they have way more talent than the Seahawks on that side of the ball. In the end, who do I choose? It's going to be close. It's going to be down to 1 possession, but I am going to go... Oh, I just can't do it. It's so close. I'm going to go with the 49ers. I haven't believed in the Seahawks team all year. They've exceeded my expectations, and I think they're finally, at this point, this is when they're going to finally lose a game that I said that they would lose. Actually, I said they were going to lose this last one against San Francisco, so I was right about that. But other than that, they won 3 more games. I predicted them to have 9. They had 12, so they have exceeded my expectations, but I think this is the end of the line. We're going to the next week, the championship games. The number 2 Kansas City Chiefs going to the number 1 Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I went with the line, but I think these are the 2 best teams in the AFC. It's going to be a hell of a game. 2 of the most young and exciting quarterbacks. A hot defense in Kansas City. One of the better defenses in Baltimore. 2 great offenses, 1 through the air, 1 on the ground. And I want to go with Andy Reid. I got to do it. I believe in John Harbaugh. He is a great coach, and there's so much talent on Baltimore, but I got to send Andy Reid, the greatest coach in the modern era who has not won a Super Bowl. I am sending him there. Did I predict that before? Yes, I did. Right here. Chiefs to the Super Bowl. I guess I'm keeping with my prediction. Now, over here, NFC, the Saints on the road in San Francisco. Sorry, it's Santa Clara. I don't care if you call yourself San Francisco. It's Santa Clara. The Saints, possibly the most talented team all around. Offense, absolutely insane. Defense, there are a ton of playmakers. They have a few holes, but overall, they're good. They're healthy. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. San Francisco, insane defense, good offense, but they're at home. If this was on neutral ground, this would be easy. This would be the Saints. It's at home for the 49ers, though. I still have to go with the Saints. I am going to stick with my prediction before. It is going to be Chiefs versus Saints in the Super Bowl. At number 2, Chiefs out of the AFC versus number 3, Saints out of the NFC. Who's it going to be? I have to go with the Saints. I think they're the better team. I think I just have to go with it. Oh, here's a nice little bracket. Here we are. I think this is just Drew Brees' year. They got screwed last year out of a lovely call. They got very unlucky with a last-minute Hail Mary. Wasn't even really a Hail Mary. It was like a little dump pass that Case Keenum somehow used dark magic to get it into the end zone. I think this is their time to shine, to go through and win the Super Bowl for a second time. But what do you think? Tell me down below. Am I a moron? Am I onto something? Am I close but a little different? I want to know what you think. While you're scrolling down to the comment section, why don't you hit that big thumbs up, give me a like, and if you haven't done it already, give us a big old subscribe. And don't forget to turn on that notification bell. And of course, more gaming content is coming your way. My schedule is freed up. I've been extremely busy the last couple weeks, lots of stuff going on. But as you can see, we're recording, we're getting back to it. I have some lovely new equipment and new lighting, and really enjoying it. Spent a lot of time setting this up, and I hope you enjoy the improvements. But until next time, this is Extinguisher Intent signing out. Have a great rest of your day.